Well, I want to go back to something you actually both have touched on, Ava, before the call started. What do you do when you're in the unknown and you're kind of flailing?
Because when we are artists, it's a lot of unknown. It's a lot of fear. It's a lot of these myths around, you won't survive, you have to suffer.
The choice for me that you actually have to learn is how to be in relationship with the unknown and not resist it. I was a pretty traditional kind of go to Hollywood, work your way up in the business. I had Barbra Streisand in my eyes. I wanted the EGOT. You want to be really wary not to follow the thread of energy in Hollywood that's just about extraction.
We recently watched Marty Supreme, and it shows this, character that was so like out of this world with his ego self. The girl who watched with me, she was like, how are you trying to make any success in life, not having that level of ambition?
The idea that is necessary for quote unquote success, for me, is a symbol and a symptom of how sick our models of success are.
Hello and welcome to Ambitchiously Intelligent. Bristol, thank you so much for making the time and for joining us today.
Thank you.
We're going to have a lovely conversation. And I'm going to introduce you, but first I'd love to ask our listeners to subscribe. As we say, it costs nothing, but it means the world to us, and it also helps to spread this podcast further and to reach more people and bring new guests aboard. So thank you for supporting us.
Thank you.
Bristol Baughan, you are an Emmy-winning and Oscar-nominated film producer, TED Fellow, and professional leadership coach. And I'm afraid that I mispronounced your surname. I'm terribly sorry. Please help me out. How do you pronounce your name?
It's Baughan. Baughan, like Vaughn
okay.
with a B.
Good. Bristol Baughan. Good.
Thanks for asking.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Your journey feels like a classic hero's journey. You went to Hollywood, you chased the dream, you achieved what many people define as success. And then you had to confront that part of it that actually didn't fulfill you, from my understanding. And that's where probably your real story begins. And what I want to ask you is, when you first arrived in Hollywood, what sort of impression, what you believed your success would look like? What dreams you were chasing? What was this inner drive that kept you move forward? Tell us please about it.
What a great question. Oh, wow. That's a good, yeah, I mean, I went with a sense of kind of the rags to riches in a way. I mean, I was raised pretty middle class, so it's not like real rags, but for me, looking at Hollywood and the glamour and beauty and the idea of people with power that could make impact in the world, I think I had Barbra Streisand in my eyes. I wanted the EGOT. It wasn't like one Oscar was nowhere near enough. Like, it needed to be making the best movies with the best people and passing legislation that changed the way people were with the world, that they made people more loving and more present or more caring. It felt like, success meant changing not just Hollywood, but the entire world to be a more safe place for more people.
Girl. Wow.
Oh, but I also wanted to be rich. So don't, it wasn't just
That doesn't hurt.
I'm not a saint. I just figured if I'm making the best movies, then I'm obviously going to have a really nice house and I'll be able to travel the world and I'll be able to give money away and do all the things that wealthy, glamorous Hollywood people do.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I love how you formulate that, because that kind of money wasn't your primary drive. It was more like a byproduct of, I'm doing what I love and I'm bringing the change in the world. And then, of course, why shouldn't I be also making money out of it? That makes perfect sense. And then once you entered that universe, when did you kind of hear that bell at the back of your mind that probably that's not what you were setting up to do?
I probably heard it. It probably rang a few times before I actually heard it. You know what I mean? Like you're getting those signs that like, ooh, this isn't actually a very ethical place, or good people don't win, often in this game. That was happening from the beginning, seeing especially how incredibly hard it was for people who didn't have connections or didn't have money to get into the business, to break in. I always thought that was a fascinating set of words. Like you are breaking into a bank, like you're breaking into a locked fortress. And so that, I think, but the time that I write about in my book, and that is the moment that I really knew that something was wrong, was when I was kind of battling depression, and I was living in New York working on a documentary, and loved the people I worked with. But no matter how much success we were having at the film company, no matter what was happening in my life, it was never, ever enough. And it was a growing loneliness that had been really ramping for like 3 years. And when I'll never forget being at the Spirit Awards with a dear colleague of mine, Zach, and standing at the bar, and we got the news that one of the films had been, I think it was nominated for an Oscar or had won an Emmy or something. It's something. And it was this huge accomplishment, and I literally had zero reaction.
Okay.
It was like, so what? We didn't end hunger. Like, what? Who cares? Like, this is nothing, right? So it was this, not only it was a flat line of no excitement, it actually had the opposite effect, which was like, okay, so, right? Like there was a already this disenchantment with the feeling of not enough. It was never gonna be enough.
Wow, that is. So was that the moment where you realized and decided to step away instead of pushing through?
I think that was, one of the many moments again, but this was one of the big ones that I remember being a pivot, where I was actually a little nervous that if I was flatlining at these big moments, and I was already in this deep kind of sadness and feeling of disconnection, like where does this road go? It was like, not an option anymore. I didn't have any choice to stay or push through. It was, I had nothing more to give.
And how many years in we're talking about?
That I believe was about 10 years in.
10 years in. And if you rewind and go back, because now, I mean, everything you're doing is gorgeous and you started producing again. And if we rewind, and just because for our listeners, those that want to, are on the journey or enter the industry or want to create, which we are hoping with this podcast that we're supporting them in seeing that there's so many different ways of entering.
Exactly.
And I think it would be beautiful to learn from your path, also like what not to do, because now you've entered again, you're producing again. It is beautiful, as in your coaching, which is amazing, and we're going to talk about that. What is it that we can learn from your path of the entering, and, or as they said it, that breaking in, which I don't want to call it that, but it's what they say. Yeah.
Well, I'd say I was a pretty traditional kind of go to Hollywood, work your way up in the business kind of trajectory. And I'd say that's happening probably a little less now, or maybe more than a little, because of how expensive, right, these places have become to live. But I'd say, moving out there with my best friend from college at the time, sharing a bedroom for the first year and a half, the willingness to kind of do anything and whatever it took. I immediately got there and got a hostessing job in a restaurant that was at a studio, Sunset Gower Studio, right near Sunset Boulevard, and where some TV shows had been filmed, and it was like down the street from Paramount, and so it was like I was getting closer, right? It was this process of trying to get closer and closer to the dream, but still being pretty far from it. And so, I got to watch Keanu Reeves have lunch, and that was a thrill. And
I would have liked that too. Sorry.
Right?
I would have watched him.
Right. Yeah. And so it was like this feeling closer to it, but it was just whoever would take me. So I started applying for internships and offering free labor and doing, whatever I could get my hands in. So I was a production assistant on film sets for USC film graduates, or students even. I mean, it was like there was no sense of, I will only do this, right? It was like, nope, I'll do absolutely anything. And that led to, terrible internships for like super shady, kind of creepy dudes in the valley for a few months. And then knowing very quickly when to leave is another thing I would say is super important. It's like, when that bell rings of like, hey, this is probably not the place for you, to just get the F out, because there are lots of other places that'll take your free labor. So anyway, I spent quite a bit of time doing production assisting, and then started getting paid as a production assistant on music videos and commercials, and, didn't touch a film for many years, being in the film business, being in the Hollywood media business. And then slowly getting to know production coordinators, and the thing that I write about that I think might be helpful for those who do choose a more traditional path is that willingness, but you have to be so discerning. It's both the willingness and a discernment, so that you're not getting with people who are abusive, and there will be people who extract from you, which is to be expected, but you want to be really wary not to follow the thread of energy in Hollywood that's just about extraction, or gets abusive quickly, whether that's just emotionally or verbally. It's like, okay, no to those people, trusting that there will be other good people who are making great things. And so finding them, networking with them, I found a group of women. It was called Next Gen Femmes at the time. And it was a group of women that were supporting each other and getting jobs. They'd passed the UTA job list around. This was a job list that was very insidery and hard to get in the beginning. And then starting to apply for those jobs that I wasn't qualified for, but F it, like go after whatever feels like it resonates with your soul. And that's really part of what navigated me through a labyrinth in Hollywood that was very friendly. Like I was going after people that were talking about starting Amnesty International, starting a film production company, like people who cared about humanitarian issues. So I kind of, went in that direction, and that really paid off. Like I met wonderful humans that led me to the person I ended up co-founding a film company with. And so, yeah, I'd say that's kind of the traditional route. And the other piece I would say for people who are taking that route, or any route really, is to do what you say you're going to do.
Okay.
Like if you become someone that people trust to show up when you say you're going to show up, to deliver what you say you're going to deliver, or to say, I can't deliver this by this time, but I can deliver it by this time. But being able to do what you say you're going to do, right? It sounds so simple and so obvious, but I'd say that was the difference between making it and not making it. Like people learned to trust me and refer me.
It is that. And what you're talking about is not just traditional, in my opinion. It is the whole business. Because it is exactly that. If people know that when you say, I will do it, I can do it, and they can trust you, because there's so much that goes wrong when we're filming. Like, there's so much. It's just, you cannot control that. It doesn't matter how good or well planned it is, something is going to go wrong. It just happens. It's film, it's human beings, it's the weather, it's everything, you know.
Yeah.
And then having someone that you can really, rely on. And also what you're talking about is the perfect networking. You are willing to put in the hours before people are paying you, because you were like, this is what I can do. Allow me to show you. And then they know, wow, okay, wait, not just that she says what she's, I can trust you in that way, but also she can do the work. So it really is for, any job, to be honest, not just obviously for the film industry, but as we're talking about that here, an independent world, where we all have to work so hard. Like, your multiple jobs you have on set. Like, I don't know, most of them I've been producing, and then I was in the leading role, as the actress, and then in between takes I'll be running to the bank, and, that's just the independent world. I mean.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think one of the keys to longevity is to love that. It's to really love the creative process above all, because the benefits will come and go. Right? Like, and this is the most Buddhist thing ever, but it's really, what I didn't have was a spiritual foundation. Like, I didn't have any of the spiritual tools that I ended up having to go to school for and spent the next 15 years developing. But like, so I'd say develop your spiritual tools immediately. There's tons of resources in Los Angeles. Again, trust your gut and be discerning around that. But the piece around not needing to be immediately gratified or satisfied, or that you're going to get things fast. I mean, I look at this new generation and it's just like the likes you can get immediately. So like, I post a video and I don't have to edit. I don't have to, put a whole lot of effort and energy, set design, like all the things, right? It's like, and there's this idea that I'll immediately get gratification. And going back to this Buddhist principle of like, chop wood and carry water, and every now and then you get these moments of ecstasy and bliss. If that's what you're set your eyes on, and you're in connection with the wonder. But the attachment to wonder and trying to get it, being extractive with it, that's the thing that I think leads to so much burnout, because it's like this idea that I'm going to work hard and then I'm going to get X, Y, and Z. And it's like, well, maybe.
It's a good chance. But
maybe sometimes, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
You know, what you said about spiritual foundation, I think, because the world now not begins like it's been like this since forever, but now it's becoming more and more evident that everything is so unpredictable. And it's so difficult to keep this inner aliveness, is the word that comes, across. And it feels like, talking to you, it feels that this is the word that means a lot to you, carries a lot of weight in your work. And if you don't have that, then having to rely only upon yourself is like the modern psychology. This is wonderful conception, and it spares you a lot of suffering probably. But there is like a bit that it's missing, because there are points of time where you cannot rely even on yourself. You just don't know, and this not knowing just kills you. And then if you don't have this space inside you where, something else carries you, the God, like, I don't know, anything else, like a magical force, then how are you gonna deal with this? It's gonna kill you, it's gonna burn you out, and you become, not capable of dealing with the situation at hand, and not capable of moving forward.
Exactly.
So
no,
I
well
love
said.
the way that what you're talking about, and the way that you came to it, and how, because I mean, I was kind of brought up in not very religious family, but at least some foundation was, installed in me early on, and then I went my way, and then I found it back. It was a whole journey. But what you said, that you didn't have that from the beginning. So how did you find your path, and how did it, infuse your creative process? How did it bring you this inner aliveness, and what this word actually means to you?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I can feel my parents like rolling their eyes. Like I definitely had some spiritual foundation, psychological foundation, some sense that I was a part of a big human community and we were all here trying to learn and grow, and it was very unconscious, right? Like I wasn't conscious of that in my teens or even early 20s when I was in the film business. It was but there was something specifically about storytelling that was like a spirituality in our house. Like we went to the movies constantly, and it was this window into other cultures and the deep soul journeys, heroine's journey, the hero's journey that all of us are going through all the time. So I feel like I had some element of it. My mother's a psychologist. My father was a family doctor. And so they're definitely 1960s, 70s, New Age. Like this was definitely the world I grew up in. But I wouldn't have used the word aliveness. I really, where I had to go to school was I did a master's degree in spiritual psychology. That was because I really hadn't learned how to feel. So when you said earlier, this idea of, it's kind of what you're, I can't remember exactly your words, but what was coming up for me as you were sharing earlier around the spiritual foundation ideas is this quote that the guy who wrote Infinite Jest, incredible author, who so he talked about be careful what you worship, and the reason to worship some sort of Yahweh, Wicca, or spiritual type thing is that anything else you worship will eat you alive.
What does he mean by that exactly? Tell me.
Well, I want to go back to something you actually both have touched on, Eva, before the call started. But this idea of like, what do you do when you're in the unknown and you're kind of flailing and you're like, and you said something about how, you have no choice and you're in this space. And it's the choice for me that you actually have to learn is how to be in relationship with the unknown and not resist it. Because the idea of some like this, David Foster Wallace, the author, ended his life. So he left, right?
Yeah.
And so this idea of leaving, and for me, it's like, that's a whole long conversation, but there's something about staying with, being in relationship with the unknown that is asking us to mature out of some kind of younger perception of reality.
Yeah, because what we do in a lot of tools teaching us to, it's called, I believe, spiritual bypassing, where you use the tool to avoid feeling that situation, to avoid being in the unknown, to avoid feeling the pain, because the pain is, nobody wants to feel the pain. But building the relationship with the pain, building the relationship with the unknown, wow, it's just making me so emotional, because it's the most difficult thing in the world, I guess. And it requires a lot of maturing around it, because at times it's just
it's too much. And Bristol, I mean, wow, let's just go there, because we're going there. And I think this is going to help a lot of us, because when we are artists, it's a lot of unknown. It's a lot of fear. It's a lot of these myths around, you won't survive, you have to suffer, and all of that, unfortunately. And I have to tell you, I've been in that unknown now for over a year, and it feels shitty. It is so hard, and it's terrifying. And I just said before we started, I was like, can just some alien coming. Now I'm saying it out loud here, guys. Some alien's gonna come and get me. And Larry's coming with me. I know it.
Always.
Always. And I even asked my friend the other day, I was like, where's your magic wand? Like, can you just come with a magic wand? Just go, it's gone, you know? How do you embrace it? Like, really, how?
Well, it's just so sweet, the idea of the magic wand, right? Like, how old does that feel? Right? Like, it's so precious, and it's so human for us to want enough. Like, stop the pain already. My mom tells a story of how when I was like 4 or something, I fell down and hit my knees and like scraped my knees, and I looked up at her like, no, this is not what I signed up for. Pain is not on the menu this time. This life is supposed to be a gift. Like, no to that, you know? And had this like as a little kid, just a sense of like, this isn't for me. Like, enough of that.
That is so cute.
Right? Like telling God, like, that'll be enough.
No.
Right? And I have to say, my life has been deeply privileged, and I'm so grateful. And someone psychic kind of friend told me, like, yeah, this is a gift life. You've been given a gift life. And so part of that is me like recognizing it, and to ask you to embrace it is too much. I think there's so many steps before then, but I think you can embrace her. You can embrace the one that longs for the magic wand, who longs for the pain to go away, who longs for humans to be kinder to each other, or to partners to be X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
It's like we can embrace these parts of ourselves, and then we see what comes next. But I'm telling you, the more that we resist is the longer we stay in it.
Oh, yeah. And the pain gets bigger. It's just somehow feels like it's multiplying or something.
Yeah, and I think that is what's happening right now. And the idea that we're gonna like positive psychologize ourselves out of it, or spiritual bypass our way out of it. Like, there's this amazing teacher that I'm obsessed with. I always have this book right here, Francis Weller, who wrote a book called The Wild Edge of Sorrow. And he is a grief master. And this guy leads rituals and brings communities together and teaches people about the initiation of grief, the initiation of loss. And initiation used to be something that we all went through in our indigenous tribes at different ages and stages of our lifetimes. And now we're kind of just thrust, like myself, into perimenopause. And I'm like, wait, why am I feeling all these things? And thank God there's social media, because then I just look it up and it's like, oh, I'm so not alone. There are millions of women my age having this exact same experience, but there's no ritual around it. And so when you say, like, how do we embrace it? I want to be really practical with people who are listening, because it's like, I just wrote a piece today. So this is probably the reason why you're saying what you're saying and I'm saying what I'm saying, because it's in our ether. But about a friend that I lost to suicide a few months ago, and the initiation that shoved me unwillingly into, which is like, oh, I have to make room for even this. I have to make room for even this. I mean, every day on the news, we're having to make room. Valeria's having to make room for things that is beyond the ability to imagine that we should ever have to make room for. And yet, life keeps offering it up. So it's like, how are we going to relate to this period of initiation and descent, when there is a descent happening? And it will always rise again. That's part of this process. So, but to have our eyes just fixed on that, we miss some part of this process that he talks about beautifully. But there's something about the layers that have to be burned away around who we think we are and why we think we're here.
They're burning, baby.
Right? And the parts that you're going to take after this,
They're
the
burning.
stories that you're going to want to tell after this, the
feel
capacity you're going to have as an actor, like this is capacity building. It just sucks when you're in it.
Fucking sucks, guys. It really does. But you're talking
But
about...
hold on.
Hey, girl, I'm holding on.
Okay.
I'm holding on, and I'm
Or let go, but don't let go of your body.
or let go. That reminds me of once in Iceland, I was horse riding and I was terrified. And then the horse started, our Icelandic ponies, started galloping. And at the end, I was just holding on to the neck of the horse and my legs, because our horses in Iceland are not that tall. So I was like, my legs were like hitting the ground, like, like in some
Wow.
And my friend was like, let go. And I was like, no way. I was just like, let go. And at one point, I would not have let go. I just couldn't. I just couldn't hold on anymore. Because the power of it and the heaviness on my body and hitting the ground the whole time with my legs, I had no, and I think that's what it feels like. It's like I just, even if I want to hold on to, there's like nothing to hold on to anymore. It's just, it's gone. It's like, so it's very exciting. And I love just going into, because you're talking about all these amazing authors. Well, you are one too.
Thank you.
And I would love for you to talk about your book. Tell us about that.
Whew. Well, it's been one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do. And it's called, right now, it may change. I'm nearing the end of the first draft. It's called Aliveness, the Inner Astronaut's Guide. And it's all about kind of this journey of being in what I now understand is a more ego-centered way of being. When I was, coming out of college and had to save the world, and an EGOT was the only thing that would be my definition of success and changing the world for the better. That was mostly about me. Right? In my perception of it being about the external world, and my whole value was defined by the external world. And so it's kind of about that journey from being in this more ego-centered worldview, kind of trying to make it in Hollywood, having some level of making it, and then having this kind of spiritual transformation burnout moment of really having to question the underlying assumptions for who I am and why I think I'm here. And for anybody who's been through a Saturn return, which is everybody who's over 30, 31, 32, it's really about going through that experience where the ground falls out completely from beneath me, and then I end up on this surrender experiment kind of journey for the next 15 years, where I studied spiritual psych. I learned a bunch of tools. I started singing again. I started reconnecting to my creative self, rehabbing from the belief that other people's creativity was more important than my own. And that my voice wasn't something that I should really spend hours a day expressing. And then that's when I started doing the coaching, leadership coaching work. And so it's about kind of that transition from ego into more eco-centered consciousness. And what happens when I go from primarily I to primarily we. And I keep using words in front of this because it's never one or the other. It's not going from ego to eco. It's like, no. This is all very fluid. And my stories are really about being an inner astronaut, which was, trying out psychedelics, going on journeys into different yoga ashrams, tantric yoga ashrams, sitting with people that ended up being cult leaders later and are now in prison, like all kinds of experiences that totally shifted my way of perceiving myself and the world and other people. And I'd say slowly kind of dissolving the illusion that we're separate in any way whatsoever, especially from nature. Really recognizing like, oh no, we are nature. And if we want to stay, we have to return and kind of take ourselves down from the top of a, pyramid, right? And return to our place inside the circle of life itself. And so that's what the book is trying to capture. No ambition there. It's like all that ambition doesn't go away. And I've just had to shift how I relate to ambition, which is like, play with it. Like, don't take it so fucking seriously.
That's good, because you're very ambitious still. And that's not a negative thing.
Right.
That's the beauty. I love that you said that now. And that is
only if I'm taking it too serious.
Yeah, but that is a pivotal thing. It's like sometimes we think we need to change everything about ourselves, and that we're not good enough then because we burned at that, that time, and then this all has to go away. And if all of that is gone, then we're healed. But it's a part of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's all coming. It's like this idea that you're going to get rid of anything. I just can let everyone know, like, no, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's all, and the more that you push them away, the more they dig deeper in.
Like,
right?
Hello, I'm here. Don't ignore me.
Exactly.
Not going anywhere in your lifetime.
Exactly.
It feels like it's them here. You're like, can I just a little bit? And it's like
a horror movie.
Yeah, it's like, can you just a little bit?
Why are you looking at me?
And it's like following you the whole. You're like, ay.
My teachers would say, they had this great metaphor that was so helpful. It was like, consciousness is a little like a bus, and different aspects of ego like to take turns driving the bus. And so ideally, we have our authentic self at the wheel as much as possible. And when you have an inner child driving the bus, or the inner victim, or the inner tyrant, or the inner whatever that takes over the steering wheel because it starts driving right in towards ice cream, or towards self-abuse, or towards whatever. And so that those aspects that start to try and take over the wheel, it's like getting really good at, like, how can I help you, dear? What do you need?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Take your seat at the back.
Yeah.
You don't have the driving license here.
That's exactly right. Like, I'm not giving you the wheel, but you can sit right there and tell me what you need. What do you need? Most of the time, it's a little bit of attention, or it's a loving boundary.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot to that. That's like internal family systems and all kinds of worlds of psycho. Yeah.
I love what you shared, is that even though wouldn't, like, from any perspective, I wouldn't define you as egoistic, because your kind of ambition at the beginning was, changing the world. And that is, wonderful. Living in the world we're living today is something that not many people have. But the way how you felt on the inside, it was something that you felt like more for yourself. To bring that change, it was upon you. You were the one who is probably chosen by yourself to bring the change into the world. And I definitely felt the same inclination early on in my life. But I studied as a lawyer, as an international lawyer, and I felt like, okay, with my idealistic view of the world, that I'm gonna, that's me who has, the chosen one. It doesn't work like that. And later on, and I'm still on that transition, I've kind of lost all that. And I even, like, now you said ambitious, and I feel maybe I'm not ambitious. Maybe I'm not an ambitious person. Because, I don't know, we recently watched Marty Supreme, and it shows this, character that just, I usually don't kind of hate characters, but I really hated him with my whole heart, because he was so, I don't know, like, out of this world with his ego self. And I was angry. After I watched the movie, I was so angry. And the girl who watched with me, she was like, what's wrong with you? It's like, how are you trying to make any, like, success in life, not having that level of ambition? It's not possible. I'm like, I'm sure it is possible, but it's probably what you said, that ambition means so many different things to many different people. And there are tools around that, how to succeed, not putting yourself up first, but like making it as like a win-win scenario. And that is something that, I question for myself every day, because I'm like, maybe I'm just not ambitious. Maybe I'm like not, not that level as I have to be. Maybe it's not enough, but maybe it's just a different thing.
Well, it just makes me want to be curious about your desires. It's like, are you desirous? Do you have desires?
Yeah, sure. I become like a storyteller. I was a storyteller early on, and it wasn't, something different for me from the childhood, but I guess I've changed the way how I want to change the world. It doesn't have to be this bright, shiny thing that everyone would be commenting upon. It's like a small things, and doesn't have to be the whole world. It doesn't have to have this, big resonance. It can be just what we're doing here with Eva. I think it does change our worlds for sure.
Yes.
And
And
even as as well.
Even as you're talking, I can feel the difference. I saw the film as well. I can feel the difference so glaringly between what I would call toxic masculine ambition and healthy feminine ambition. And healthy feminine and masculine ambition, which is, what is mine to do? What is emerging for me? How do I want to be of service?
Yeah.
There was no service consciousness in him.
Not at all.
Absolutely none. And that's okay. I'm not just demonizing that, but the idea that is necessary for quote unquote success, for me, is a symbol and a symptom of how sick our models of success are.
Yeah.
Yes.
If that's what it takes, is complete decimation of every relationship you have. Everyone has to sacrifice themselves essentially for you to play ping pong.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we've entered this bizarro world where that's considered just necessary for success. And it's like, oh, no, that success is going to kill us all.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to, like, catch each other, catch ourselves. And megalomania is not a goal. Like, but that's literally who a president is. So now and I'm sure multiples at this moment, especially. So it's like, whoa, these are symbols of power and success. Eek.
Well, talking about a precedent, I mean, as we know, as we said, you're an Emmy award-winning producer and Oscar-nominated, and you also produced By the People.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Did you get the chance to meet Obama? How was that?
I met him briefly backstage in Iowa. It was lovely, but it's so funny. It was like, oh, great. Hey, what's up? But I interned at the White House. This will show you my ego too.
Yeah.
Well, I interned at the White House, not under Bill Clinton. Now that's become a pun, but
Sorry.
but it was during Bill Clinton's tenure. And so we literally had this photo where they kept all the interns way far away from him at that point. So they have like 200 of us standing on the stairs of the old executive office building right next to the White House. And Bill would come up the stairs and he would lean down the thing to shake everyone's hand. Mm-hmm. And so he came to my, like, I was like 40 people in, and he's coming down, he's shaking all the hands. And instead of me like walking halfway out, I just waved. And people were like, no, step. That's not the protocol. You have to.
Like,
and I'm like, no, but it's fine. Like, I'm way down. I'm at the end. Like, he's way over there. Like, it's cool. Like, I just waved. So I really do have this sense that, like, I both admire people that reach that level, right? And I also have this sense of, like, you know what? Like, we're all the same. Like, we're all peers trying our damnedest, especially with these kinds of people, to make the world a little better. And like, you have way more power than I do to do that. And so, like, hats off to you. But also, there's something about that level of power that I start to question now. Like, what'd you have to do to get there? So even even my like the person I love, that I perceive I love, Barack Obama, is still now one of those people where I'm like, oof, like to get to that place requires a kind of ambition in this moment in time that I am a little suspect of at this point, being a little older. But it was still a thrill, and I'm very proud of that movie. The filmmakers did a beautiful job, and it's very cool to have like a historic document of the first African American president of the United States.
And being the producer of that is amazing. I mean, that's beautiful. And that's also the work you chose. That's the beauty of it. Yes, your ego. Yes, you wanted success and you got it. But it was always clear when one looks at the body of work that you have is that it was really about changing the world. You really wanted change. And that is something that you are continuing doing.
Yeah.
So now you've started producing again because you stepped away. Did you step away? How long? For how many years now did you step away?
Oh, probably like 13 years. I mean, it was never fully away, right? Like I always had friends I would consult. I spent a few years kind of making some videos for a while, so probably maybe 10 all in that I was really kind of out entirely.
And what is different now? And how did you enter this time around?
Yeah. So for me, anything I spend my time and energy on right now has to feel alive. So that word aliveness, back to your question earlier that I don't think I answered, is really a spiritual inner compass that I can sense, usually in my body, when something is calling me to serve it. If that makes sense. Like, and so this all started, I think, when I first learned the word regeneration, which was in a council of redwood trees in Mill Valley, just north of San Francisco. And there was a lovely guy, Christian Scherer, who was talking about the difference between degenerative agriculture, sustainable agriculture, and regenerative agriculture. And so if you can imagine, degenerative is taking value from, sustainable is trying to maintain without degenerating, but it does degenerate soil over time. We're still taking too much from the soil. And then regenerative is adding value back in. And so for me, when he just described our relationship to the soil and how to be in relationship with soil so that it continues to be abundant forever, because this is its natural state, as long as we don't extract too much from it, it was like, oh, this is the work I do with people. I work with souls, helping people return to their natural state of soul regeneration, which is how to feed themselves, how to nurture themselves, love themselves, and find their purpose, so that alchemy, that chemistry kind of finds its balance. And aliveness is often an energy like a tingle in the hands or the face or the chest or somewhere in your body that when you come in contact with something that resonates with your soul, it's like these little green arrows that are just like, go that way, do that project. It's this tool, dowsing rod, this tool that helps you to identify what's really for you. And so this was a project that after I learned the word regeneration, oh my God, I'm going to dedicate my life to this. I want to regenerate soul and soil. I was all about that.
That is beautiful.
And then I read this book, Designing Regenerative Cultures by Daniel Christian Wall. And like I used to do in Hollywood, I reached out to the author and was like, hey, I'm somebody. And we should do something together someday, And then it took 6 years or 5 years or something, like of just checking in once a year. And then one of my best friends in Los Angeles is like, I want to do a documentary about regeneration, about people falling in love with nature, with themselves as nature, understanding there's no separation. And I was like, boop, we're all getting on a phone call. And so Daniel, Aaron, myself, this lovely woman, Philippa, out of Australia, we have been developing this film for about a year and have another kind of 6 months of development. We're raising funds right now. And then we are going to start documenting essentially kind of these these carriers of wisdom from around the world that are these bridges between nature and human that understand their link and are embodying what I would call a more regenerative future. Sorry, that was a long
That
answer.
is gorgeous. And I
no.
was just thinking, like, there's so many things going on. And the green arrows, I love that arrow because for me, when something is, I don't know for you, Valeria, but in my body, there's this young Ava that just like, if something, it excites me. If I'm like, ooh, like a little girl, and I'm like, then I know like, ooh, this is something good. There's something happening here.
Yes.
It's kind of my trigger. I'm starting to realize. How is it for you, Valeria?
I got fear, honestly. And it's not like you have like dread. There is like in English, it's a perfect separation. You have dreadful fear that you're dreading something and it's like negative. And usually it comes as like, cold sweat, like all sort of things, but you know it. And then fear as an excitement, but it also comes with a little bit of a twist. So if you're like good scared of something, that means that it's good because I don't know, maybe I'm like this. I usually am fearful of things that are good. I'm trying not to break them. I'm trying to, I don't know. I probably denied myself with weight this career of doing things that I love, cinema, writing, and pursued a different one where I became successful but had no inner, connection to it because I was, was more, in a way, it was safer because I didn't have the stakes for me inside, like as a human, me, Valeria, they weren't high. I didn't want to become successful where I was just, doing a good job, serving the purpose of this business. And sure enough. And I didn't have any inner, I don't know. That's how it worked for me. So I was fearful of starting this, but it brings more joy. But the stakes are so much higher. so yeah.
And I love how honest that is because there's especially, I don't know anything about your history, but people with a trauma history, it's like this, when there is this opening or expansion, there's usually that next voice that comes in that's like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? And I can't attach to this or I can't believe in it. And it's so interesting. So it's finding that place in the spectrum where it's like, good, don't attach to it, but believe that it's possible. Like one will come in and try to make meaning that's also an overreach or an overcompensation in order to protect. And the other thing I just wanted to say to that is good. I'm glad you have something that can help pay the bills and take care of you because that's what I'm recommending as many people as I can right now, which is like find that alternate side. Find that alternate income because the putting your life on your art is rare. There's very few people who can afford to do that. And if you can, go for it. My God, do not hesitate and go then invest in other people who can do it. Like that could be your service. That would be awesome. But like, yeah, I'm so grateful that I do the coaching and then I have the writing and each one can serve each other. But this is where independent film, this is where you get a freedom that otherwise if I was in the business committed to making movies all the time, no chance. I'd be sitting writing a memoir and a sci-fi novel. Like there's no way. I mean, I don't know how to do that. Maybe somebody else has figured that out, but like, I think it's okay for us not to be all the time in the space and then make the things that really matter to us. Those are the films I want to see.
Gives you that freedom, right? That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because there's so much heaviness on it. If you are just dependent on that and you're running after something or chasing, and then just the I don't know, the creative juice just stops flowing somehow. It stagnates. And then it's heavy.
Yeah.
So,
And the other thing I want to add to that is like the old patron model, even though I wish that we were graduated from it, it's important. It's important that people with resources invest in artists that don't have them.
yes.
Like, find an artist to support. Find someone that you're just like, I love your look. I love look of your art. I love your take on the world. I just want to be a patron, whether that's using, whatever those websites are, I think it's Patron or something like that.
Patreon,
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, but artists asking for money. I also want to just like, please, God Almighty, stop feeling ashamed or second guess the idea of asking for money, asking for a lot of money, asking for a little bit of money monthly, like asking a family member, asking a family friend. I have been so incredibly lucky that I have had an old boyfriend from college show up a few years ago and say, listen, I made a bunch of money. I know you do lovely things in the world and I'd like to support you. And I was like, you don't even know who I am or what I do now. And he's just like, I don't care. Like, whatever it is, I'm sure I'll want to support you. Right? Like, people want to support you. Then they'll want to hear about the project, maybe. But I think I just want to, for some reason I feel really fired up right now about like telling artists and people that are in whatever version of the business you're in to be absolutely shameless about asking for support. Art has always been something that is patronized. And so, like, just you have to ask, though. You have to ask. And there's this shame around asking, or I'm a failure, if a blah, blah. And it's like, no. No.
And I think that's also how you have been able to fund your films, right? And go out there because you are not afraid of it. You know what you're doing is worth, it's just the beauty of you're changing the world. So that kind of gave you maybe the fuel or the courage. Can that be?
I had way more of it in my 20s. Oh yeah, I was righteous. I was like, you better give me your money.
Give me your money.
Give me that money. Yeah. Oh no, it was so much easier then. Now, as I get older, it's like all those fears come in. Is this worth it? If they donated this money to something else, would it be more valuable? Blah, blah. And it's just like, oh, hush already. Like, if you believe in this, if this is alive, if this is emergent, then ask. Because it's actually a gift for someone to be involved in. It will offer them something that they otherwise wouldn't be able to be a part of. So like trusting that whatever's emerging through you creatively has value for people with money to be a part of.
And they would be proud of it, and they will be proud of it. Because it is beautifully being a part of something like that. What is her name? Oh my God, she's one of my favorite actresses now. Hamnet. Jessie.
Oh yeah, Jessie Buckley.
Jessie Buckley. She had one. She talked about in a podcast I just heard that she had a patron. She had someone that really paid for her schooling and supported her through the whole thing. She was seen, and this human being said, I'm going to support you.
That's wonderful.
And isn't that beautiful? And I wish that for everyone. And when I am in that position, I will do that too. And I'm so looking forward to being in that position.
Me too.
Amen.
I've been able to taste it. But I do want to just note real briefly that like this is also an element of privilege. Yes. Having access to people with money.
Yeah.
So it's harder in communities that don't have, or haven't broken in. This is part of breaking in is to circles of privilege. And one of the ways to do that is to find out, and I'm hopefully, I don't want to give this to people who are like manipulative and creepy. I'm giving this to artists who have their hearts in the right place,
so
right?
Only good human beings are listening to this.
Seriously.
If you're manipulative.
Listening. Believe me, they're not here.
Okay, great. I figured, but is to find out what you care about, where your passion is, and then find out who else is passionate about that with resources. Who's investing in this? Who shares an aliveness with you? That and you go out and you shamelessly try to connect with them. And it may mean having to show up at their foundation's events, showing up, buying their book, writing a letter. It involves work of relationship building. but it's not just going out and coldly asking for money all the time. It's just it's
No.
relationship building with people that you think maybe you don't have access to.
Or be Bristol with 20 years and go there and say, give me your money. I'm not leaving until you give me your money.
No. The thing I think that a lot of people underestimate, me included, is yeah, there is a shame around asking, and then you're struggling, you are already in shame that you're not, like doing everything possible and stuff. But then someone is helping you out, then it's not only they helping you out, but it's also them who they are fulfilling some sort of dream for themselves, or they want to be of support. They want to, it's not one-sided. It's never one-sided.
No.
Exactly.
I mean, ideally it's not one-sided. And I think there are more cases where it's not one-sided. And especially in creative field, I don't think you have to, you don't have to ignore this thing that the other person gets also so much out of it.
I think you're saying
100%.
exactly the right thing, Valeria. And the thing is, it isn't one-sided, because those that think like that, they won't support.
Yeah.
They won't.
Yeah.
It's just, that's not what they do. They're too self-involved, and they just do not have the capacity at that moment or ever. And I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. It's everyone's choice, and good for them. So I do believe exactly what you're saying. Also, Bristol, thank you for saying that. Go out there, because there's someone that will love, if they are like-minded. If it is the same cause, if you know that they would proudly support.
And those who aren't, if you just build a relationship with people you even don't even love that much, it's like they may want to support you. They don't care what you're doing. But there's something about you that they want to support. And so it's just, this is where you don't know. You can't be so strategic. It's like, this is where following your aliveness and then putting yourself out there is an interesting mix.
Beautiful. Oh my God, this has been amazing. Can we keep you?
Stay with us.
It's so nice to spend time with you both. Thank you so much.
This was wonderful, and just so much to learn from you, and very, very much looking forward to your film, and not to forget your book. Where will it be published? Like, where can we don't know. It's going to be there.
We don't know yet. We don't know
Yes.
yet. Yes, looking for a publisher soon. I have not started that process yet, but I will. And I do have a retreat coming up at Esalen.
Tell us
That's
more.
happening May 29th through the 31st with my dear friend, Dr. Cassandra Veaton. And it's all about using your imagination and being in relationship with that unknown to then get in touch with the next iteration of who you're meant to be.
That sounds so sexy. Sorry.
I know, I want you to come. And it's such a sexy place.
It is
Hot
so
springs.
powerful and sexy, and because that's the thing, power isn't only just negative. We're not talking about that. Not
That's
at all.
right.
It can be really, really beautiful, gorgeous, and sexy.
Yeah.
So that means, Bristol, please promise us when the book is out, this is going to be on YouTube, and that we can put it in the show notes, the link. We'll do that later on
thank
for
you.
everyone.
Yes.
And also now we will have, obviously, in the show notes, how is it best to connect with you?
You can just go to my website, bristolbaughan.com.
And we will have that in
Everything's
the
on
show
there.
notes. We will have that in the show
Okay.
notes, so you can go and click on it. And definitely connect and look at her work and her coaching site, because it's beautiful. It's yummy. Everything there is so yummy. It's so obvious that you're also just, that all the work you've done, that it's there, like, and that you live it, you know? And so
Thank you.
it's beautiful. Thank you. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Thank you.